Good afternoon. Welcome to Bright Horizons Town Acquisition Employee Spotlight live stream event. My name is Colby Roundtree. I'm a talent acquisition sourcer for our Division 10 market on the East Coast at Bright Horizons. And today we have the opportunity to spotlight Bridgette Hart. She's an assistant director at Bright Horizons at Tampa Palms in Tampa, Florida. If we can bring Bridgette on, that'd be awesome. I'm excited to meet her. Hey, Bridgette, thanks for joining today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Awesome. If you don't mind, just give a small introduction of yourself, and then we can obviously get into a couple of the questions for today.
Well, I am born and raised in Tampa, Florida. I actually taught in public school in Tampa, Florida for 16 years before I joined Bright Horizons. I'm really passionate about children and making childhood as wonderful of an experience as I can. And I really love the philosophies that Bright Horizons has toward making that a possibility.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining today, and then we'll just jump right into these questions. So, the first one I wanted to ask you a little bit more to get to know about you. What do you love most about your role here at Bright Horizons? And I know you had just mentioned 16 years of public school teaching experience, so versus your past experience in teaching as well.
I love how the philosophies and our way of work seem to match up much better. We really try to do things with the children in mind, but we also care about our teachers and staff. And so there's hard principles for the staff and the teachers, there's hard principles for the classroom, and everyone's personality and uniqueness is valued in a way that I really like.
Well, that's awesome. And I know that's obviously a big thing for anyone to make sure that your full self is valued at a company. So I'm glad to hear that, us at Bright Horizons really fit that bill for you, true to heart. I guess this question, a little bit backtracking, but ultimately, what inspired you to pursue a career in early childhood education?
My public school time I spent with older kids, so from about 11 to 18 years old. And I realized that it's sometimes too late to try to teach kids, about positive self-concept and how to be a positive productive member of society. We wait too late, and I really liked how Bright Horizons starts even as soon as the toddler classroom, with working with the kids and teaching them those social emotional things like sharing, like empathy. And I was just convinced that if we started earlier, if we started sooner, and not wait until they're 12, 13, 14 to start trying to teach them these things, that we would be more successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. And I obviously that's such an important impact being in early childhood education, like you said, making sure something on the front end is gotten. And that 11 to 18, it is a critical stage, but obviously if things are fundamentally based, it can definitely make it a lot harder. I understand that. Um, Next question I kind of wanted to ask you. Ultimately, after working with us at the assistant director role, what advice would you give other Bright Horizons family members who are looking to grow within Bright Horizons?
I would just encourage them to be open to learn, to be open to the way that Bright Horizons kind of has built their company and the philosophies for teaching and working with children. I would encourage them to not be afraid to ask questions, to not be afraid to do research. Um, a lot of things that I've found out, I've learned through researching. Brightweb is a wonderful resource, and I've made good friends with it over my time with Bright Horizons.
Well, that's good. I was going to say, absolutely. Research is definitely an important thing. And yeah, BrightWeb's an awesome tool for our employees to kind of dive in as well. Um, Next question I want to get to. What practices do you use to maintain a program focused on child centered environments?
Well, we first and foremost start off with making sure that our teachers are armed with the knowledge base, with the understanding of the why we do what we do. Um, we make sure that we try to reach each child in their own way. We know that no two kids are the same, and we know that what works with one kid might not work with another. So we try to be very flexible with how we approach the children on any given day at any given time, because if someone's having a bad day or if they're tired or they don't feel good, the way that they show up is not going to be the same, and we try to honor that as much as possible.
Well, that's awesome. And yeah, I mean, even with work, I'm sure all of us can agree. Not every day is perfect, and I'm sure children are the same. So it's awesome to hear that there's definitely an adaptive approach and really trying to understand how the child's feeling. Last question. Ultimately, and I guess maybe this might be the most impactful one for some people at the end. How has Bright Horizons supported you in your career growth journey?
I've had opportunities to practice my interviewing skills, both as being an interviewee and an interviewer. I've had opportunities to work with parents, and when things maybe didn't go so well, I go back and I ask for feedback. And I appreciate that safety of being able to ask for feedback, being able to make mistakes, and not necessarily be permanently judged based off what I didn't know. Bright Horizons is all about, well, why not? Well, why not use this as a learning opportunity? Why not take this time to ask questions, to seek for understanding instead of just quietly going along with what you think you're supposed to do? And I really have appreciated those opportunities.
Well, that's amazing. And that's awesome. I know, obviously, rising into the assistant director role, those interviews, the interview skills are always crucial. And I guess I know we have a couple extra minutes on the back end here. And I really wanted to give you an opportunity to talk more about, our Bright Horizons at Tampa Palms. So if you just want to take a couple minutes and maybe explain the culture or ultimately just why you're still at Bright Horizons.
Sure. So this is a community center. So we have all types of families from all different workplaces, all different countries. We have people who speak Farsi, we have people who speak Italian, people who speak Tamil and Hindu and Spanish. And I really love the diversity. I love that sense of community. We have people who live in the neighborhood around our center, which was something different. Previously, I was at a client center. And while there was the sense of family and community, it was different because it's kind of like this is part of work. Whereas here, the families, they celebrate us, they reach out to us, we're resources for each other. And I really have enjoyed that. Um, I just really like Bright Horizons as a company for the most part. No company is perfect because humans are running the company, and as humans, we're all very flawed. But I appreciate that Bright Horizons recognizes, okay, we're changing this because we would like your feedback on how this process works for you. And I love that. And it's similar here at the center. There's nothing that's set in stone per se, unless it pertains to safety of children. But if I have an innovation, if I have an idea, if I have a question, or if a staff member has an innovation or an idea or a question, or a parent, like we really want to hear what people have to say. We really want to actually put into practice what people have to say versus just taking surveys and nothing ever seems to change. So I really appreciate that.
Well, that's amazing. And again, I'm really thankful that you took the time out to, speak with us and spotlight not only your personal experience, but also Bright Horizons at Tampa Palms, because it's an awesome place. And what you just explained kind of backs that up incredibly. So, um, thank you again. And I was going to say thank you all for stopping by and watching this event. Other than that, we'll have the comment section open if you need any questions. But I really wanted to thank you, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Thank you for having me. It was my pleasure.
Awesome. Take care, Bridgette.
You too.